think Josh can steal the MVP?
I will never put anything past NFL MVP voters and their infatuation with Josh Allen. So certainly he can. Do I think it's at all legitimate, barring an absolute collapse, true collapse by Matthew Stafford? No. I don't think it's legitimate. And every year we do this, and this is the thing. The MVP, this is breaking news, guys. The MVP is the MVP. It is the single most prestigious individual honor in the sport. It is totally fair to nitpick and to request that the guy who's going to win the award be said, hey, of the 1,700 players in the league, you were the single best and most valuable this season, that we say, like, hey, just don't have mediocre months of football. And what is so frustrating to me about Josh and the way he's talked about in the MVP voting, even though I think now that Patrick's hurt, I think he's the best healthy player in the league. I think he's been the second best quarterback in the league the last few years. I think all of that's true. He's the only guy who can have a full month of mediocre football individually and team-wise, and then have two awesome games, and this be the conversation. And so here was his month of football leading into these two games. That's fine, I guess. And we're talking about, that's more than a quarter of his resume right now. And that's not his 4 worst games, by the way. No. It's just the 4 games leading into these 2 games. And it's like now he could steal MVP. And by the way, a very similar thing happened last year. But last year, the guy with the crazy stats had just won it, so it worked against him. Last season, in the year he won MVP, he had the 9 for 30 game against the Texans, where we talked about how it was the lowest completion percentage in NFL history for a game where a guy threw 30 passes. They got blasted. People forget this, Brew. They played the Ravens, and they lost by 25. He had and so this year he has 5 multi-turnover games. He has 5 games less than 200 yards. He's been unbelievable. I'm not saying he's been bad. He's been great. He, by no measure, has been better than Matthew Stafford.
By every measure, this is a disingenuous take. Last year, Nick Wright argued passionately that Patrick Mahomes should be MVP, keeping him at the top of his rankings even when Mahomes had more interceptions than touchdowns through the first 7 or 8 games. So, spare me the sudden obsession with pure stats like touchdowns, completion percentage, and passer rating. It's insane and illogical. The MVP award isn't just the best stats award. Josh Allen is doing significantly more with significantly less. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua alone represent a greater offensive support system than anything Josh Allen has in Buffalo outside of himself. The counter-argument is, but he has James Cook. The Rams' 2 running backs, Kyren Williams and Blake Corum, combined have more touchdowns and yards than Cook alone. The Rams' offensive line protects Matthew Stafford better. He has better receivers, better tight ends, better running backs, and better run support. Let's look at run game efficiency, which sets up favorable passing situations. Both Rams backs have elite success rates, 65.9% and 59.8%. Who leads the Bills in rush success rate? Josh Allen, at 58.2%. James Cook is 8th on that list. Kyren Williams has 64 first downs on 211 attempts. James Cook has 59 first downs on 271 attempts. Blake Corum has 36 first downs on just 112 attempts. And Cook has 6 fumbles. The Rams duo has 2 combined. The evidence is overwhelming. Stafford's run support is far superior. It's obnoxious when Stafford fans claim, a quarterback's job is to pass the ball, as if rushing contributions don't count. That's a disingenuous and absurd argument. The fact that Stafford and Allen have a similar number of total touchdowns, with Stafford's almost all coming through the air, proves that Allen shoulders a massively greater burden. The Bills often can't reliably score in short yardage or red zone situations, unless Josh Allen does it himself. About 70% of Allen's big plays are off-script, created through individual brilliance, while Stafford operates almost entirely within the structure of Sean McVay's offense. Every MVP has a bad game or two. Let's talk about Stafford's bad game against the Panthers. 2 interceptions and a game-losing fumble. Why is that dismissed while Allen's less efficient games are held against him? I need to be clear. I believe Matthew Stafford is elite. Check any of my past videos. You won't find me bashing him. But I'm here to tell the truth. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL and is clearly the MVP over Matthew Stafford this season. The Rams have a definitively better overall roster, a better defense, superior run support, and better coaching. Allen constantly has to do things himself. Stafford has padded his stats in blowouts against terrible teams like the Jaguars and Titans. Josh Allen doesn't get those games. When the Bills win easily, Allen's stats aren't juiced. Often Cook's are. Allen's stats come from the toughest, highest leverage games where his team needs him most. That's a fundamental difference. Examine their performances in their hardest games. Stafford versus Eagles. 1933, 196 yards, 2 TD, 1 INT, 82.4 rating. Multiple missed throws. Stafford versus Seahawks. 1528, 130 yards, 4.6 YA, 2 TD, 89.9 rating. Benefited from Sam Darnold turnovers. Allen versus Ravens, Week 1. Led a huge comeback. 33-46, 394 yards, 2 TD, 112 rating, plus 14 carries for 30 yards and 2 rushing TDs. Allen versus Patriots. Engineered a 21-point comeback. 1928, 193 yards, 3 TD, 123.1 rating, plus 11 carries for 48 yards. Allen versus Buccaneers. 1930, 317 yards, 3 TD, 2 INT, 104.4 rating, plus 6 carries for 40 yards, and 3 rushing TDs in a shootout where his defense allowed 32 points. His top receiver was Tyrell Shavers, a player most people don't even know. The majority of Stafford's impressive stat lines have come against weak or decimated opponents: Jaguars, Saints, Cardinals, Lions. In his genuinely tough games, the Rams have sometimes lost, and his numbers are pedestrian. Nick Wright defended Patrick Mahomes as MVP in years when his stats were inferior to others, like Tua Tagovailoa's higher completion percentage, yards, and rating in 2023, by arguing Mahomes was simply the better and more valuable player. Roster context be damned. But that same critical lens and appreciation for context and burden suddenly disappears when applied to Josh Allen. Why is that logic only valid for Patrick Mahomes? Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the league and the most valuable player. He might not win the award because much of the media doesn't watch all the games or apply logic consistently. Frankly, that's why I care more about the conversation than the actual trophy. But the reality is clear. By every measure of value, burden, and performance in critical moments, Josh Allen is the MVP.